The icons on the wall, Ganesh, Shiva, St. Francis. A TV is on somewhere, and the noise of a mid-afternoon movie carries through the heat on otherwise deserted streets. In the late afternoon, as clouds gather over the ocean, he sees from the stirring town that the bus is due any minute. The owners of the guest houses are the first to emerge sleepily from their lobbies, followed by the touts from the fancier hotels and resorts up and down the coast, who come zipping in on shiny new motorcycles, their best rooms fallow in the off-season. They all trickle uphill to where Connor is already waiting, tributaries running to the deluge, everyone with a stake in the ecosystem of the tourist money that comes in on the bus. It's low season, and they need this one. A sleeper coach from Mumbai that should hold a couple of dozen sleep-deprived, underfed, disorientated tourists. By the time it announces itself with a roar of an ancient gearbox fighting its way uphill in second gear, everyone is gathered to greet it. Almost nobody who works these beaches is from around here. Blow-ins and entrepreneurs who headed west from poorer states to make hay on these tourist beaches. Most of the touts waiting for the bus ignore Connor as a rule. They aren't hostile to him, the strange Australian working their patch, but neither do they ever welcome him. Except for Bubba. Bubba with his affection for foreigners, his affectations. Linen suits and Cuban boots with lifts in the heels that must be impossibly uncomfortable in this weather, and entirely unnecessary since he already towers over everybody on the beach. Bubba with his fingers in a million pies. Bubba with his grip on commerce on these beaches. Bubba, eternal pain in Connor's ass. Many people have epiphanies while meditating on this beach, but none have the crystalline sharpness of Bubba's inspiration when he first saw Shanti, one winter afternoon with the sea mist coming in. Generations of travellers had loved Shanti as a sleepy, drug-addled backwater, but in the wild banks of windswept garbage, the broken down and unloved villas, the murky water, Bubba saw a glittering future. Far to the south are the wetlands of Kerala, and to the north, Russian tourists busting the seams of Morjam Beach get closer all the time. In a few years, Russian money will start flooding through Shanti, needing to be washed, and Bubba will be waiting. Not long after arriving in town, he started investing in the village. A little at a time, he'd bought up the bar and restaurant, the cafe, a couple of guest houses, a yoga school, and the dive boat, which Connor works for him. Nearly everyone in town works for Bubba in one way or another. The drug dealers, the rickshaw drivers who ferry guests to his fancier guest house up the coast, the fishermen who supply his restaurant. Even the group of bright-eyed, hunger-panged children who live on the streets. Most residents hate them, consider them vermin to be chased off with insults and rocks, but not Bubba. He's forever sending them off on errands to fetch him cigarettes or pan, and then waving away the change, sometimes hundreds of rupees, for the child to keep. He has a soft spot for the feral kids, had been one himself, wild and vicious until he fought his way up in the world. A swarm races to meet the bus now, and Bubba heads them off. He takes out his bankroll, hands out a little cash, shoos them away. Connor nods to Bubba, who beams back, full blast. On the other side of the hill, the bus gives up on second, shifts down to first, and then finally crests the rise and rolls down towards the waiting touts, an idol of Ganesh tied to the bull bar with a plastic garland. The bus rumbles to a halt, then shuts down with a whine from the hydraulics and a whoosh as the door opens and the climate-controlled interior opens up to the heat. A puff of condensation spills out of the footwell to die on the baking hilltop, a hopeful little mist that evaporates before the first sandal touches the ground. The travellers shuffle out, blinking into the haze and fumbling for sunglasses, making noises of meek disapproval as the driver climbs to the luggage rack on top of the coach and starts pitching the bags onto the dusty road. Connor can see them weighing whether or not to kick up a fuss before deciding against it and shrugging on their backpacks, bracing as the touts surround them, shouting offers of hotels, meals, beers, drugs. The gull cry of the rickshaw drivers rising above it all. "Taxi! Taxi!" Connor hangs back, waiting. It's a disappointing bus, less than half full, which isn't bad for this backwater village, especially in the off-season when there's little reason to visit. But this is an underwhelming crop of travellers. None of them is what he needs.